So yesterday was Friday Night Smackdown, and I thought it closed off on a great note. Jade Cargill, she made her debut earlier on in the show, officially signing her Smackdown contract. And it was actually pretty funny, not because of, the segment itself, but Wade Barrett, man. Wade Barrett is me. Wade Barrett is me. He's me and all the other brothers out there watching this show. Because Jade, man, she looked phenomenal. I don't got to get into descriptive details. We all know how beautiful of a woman she looks on the outside because, my goodness, she is. She's a great looking woman. And Wade Barrett apparently agrees with that, man. I don't know if Wade Barrett is married, but I know back then he used to date Alicia Fox. So he got some nigga in him when it comes to his taste. You feel me? Corey Graves was talking to him, and Wade Barrett responded and said, "I have no idea what you just said. I simply cannot stop staring at Jade Cargill." And then he threw in, "respectfully." And then he had the line of the night where he said, "That is the best human being I have ever seen." Corey was like, "Dog, pick your jaw up off the desk, bro. Come on." And Wade Barrett was like, "You're going to have to help me." Look, man, I understand. She looked great. And she's officially a member of the SmackDown roster. But that's not where it stopped for Jade Cargill. She came out later that night to help out Naomi and Bianca Belair when they were being attacked by Damage Control. She came out to the ring, crazy aura, right? Her music hits. She gets in the ring and she gives Asuka a kick. She gives Dakota Kai a pop-up powerbomb with a lot of intensity behind it. And then she hits Kairi Sane with the Glam Slam. She took out all three members. No help needed. Took them all out. Great way to bring her on to SmackDown in her first, I don't want to say debut, because obviously this wasn't a match. And this isn't even the first time we've seen her on TV. This isn't the first night at all. We've seen her make cameos on Raw and SmackDown, just little hey, hi type things. So, but this was the first time she got physical on either SmackDown or Raw, and now we know she's going to be on SmackDown. And her, Naomi, Bianca, they all posed to end out the show. And shortly after the show, it was made official that it will be Bianca, Naomi, and Jade Cargill going up against Damage Control with Dakota Kai, Kairi Sane, and Asuka at WrestleMania. Now, I think that's great. I love that decision. I was very intrigued to see where they were going to go with this Damage Control, Bianca, and Naomi thing, because it was clear either they were going to go get a partner or those two themselves were going to challenge for the tag titles. And then that whole thing with Asuka's injury kind of made things a little fuzzy. I didn't know where they were going to go from there. But adding Jade to the match, I think is great, because I do think Jade's first match should be a tag match. Jade should kind of get eased in, similar to how Ronda Rousey got eased in. Now, Ronda came from a different background. She came from the UFC world, and I think Ronda was a lot better doing this for the first time that I think I've seen a lot of wrestlers, regardless of gender, male, female, whatever. She got accustomed to this wrestling shit very quickly. Unfortunately, it didn't rub off on her promos, but in the ring, she got accustomed to it. And I think the difference, obviously, is that Jade has some wrestling experience, albeit not the greatest experience. She was just kind of thrown out there by AEW. She really could have used a performance center, and she's been doing that over the last couple of months. And a lot of people have been very critical about how long it's taken WWE to make anything official. But I think two things about that is, one, you got to give time to all great things, right? Things don't just happen overnight, and she needed to be seasoned. She needed to improve in the ring. Obviously, if you see her AEW run, yes, she does have the look. She has the aura. She has the presence about her. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to work in the ring. And two, they just put her in a WrestleMania match with Bianca, Naomi, Damage Control. That's a prominent spot for any woman on that roster. She's working in a match with one of the biggest stars in the company, regardless of gender, Bianca Belair. So that is a prominent role. And on top of that, that just shows how much they have belief in her. Sure, it isn't a singles match, but it's a prominent spot. Granted, she's probably going to be limited in certain things she could do, but I think that's a sign that she has come a long way in what they've seen in the Performance Center so far. Now, I want to address what they're going to do after this, because I think this is the beginning of something special in that company. I'm so serious. I am a big believer in Jade Cargill. I actually think, and I don't care what anyone has to say about this. I don't care how you feel about women, whatever. I think she can become the biggest star in that company. And I'm so serious about that. I don't mean she's going to go on to be The Rock or John Cena. Hell, hey, the sky's the limit for her, but I'm not saying she's going to go on to do some stone cold shit. But what I mean by that is you can't look at what Becky Lynch did a couple years ago when she was the hottest thing, not only in WWE, in wrestling. She was the hottest thing in wrestling. She was the biggest star in that company at one point, right? They went on to main event WrestleMania. We all know how that story went. There's no way you can tell me Jade Cargill can't do something like that. Hell, Bianca Belair, I think she could do something like that. Rhea Ripley, I think she could do something like that. But obviously, this video is about Jade. And we're going to kind of address Bianca because I think Bianca is going to factor into that. But you can't tell me that Jade Cargill doesn't have that kind of potential. She's done interviews with other mainstream media sites and, interviews with like The Breakfast Club. I've seen her on The Breakfast Club. She has also made it known that she wants to play Storm one day. She has a lot of goals of how to branch out even further than like the wrestling market. And I think she has more than enough ability to do so. She has that mainstream appeal. Hell, this is a woman that when she was in AEW, she did the whole, I think, AKA entrance. That was amazing. Could you imagine her doing something like that on a WrestleMania stage? I'm telling you, she could bring in a whole new market of black women to that company. Her and Bianca. Bianca's not left out of this equation at all. But I definitely do think that even when you just take a look at Jade Cargill, she already has the aura that no other woman in that division has. Rhea Ripley doesn't have it. Becky Lynch doesn't have it. Bianca, as great as she is and as great as her aura can be, she don't got it. Charlotte don't got it. Nobody got it like Jade Cargill does. And I'm telling you, with her getting better, her learning under a Bianca and Naomi, if they decide to make that like a stable or faction, that can help. Because I think the path for Jade Cargill is this, right? They start off with this little tag team match at WrestleMania, right? They do that against Damage Control. I assume they do win. But I think Bianca and Jade specifically, make them a tag team. Make them a tag team. And for however many months, let them not only win matches and get some chemistry under their belt. I'm talking dominate. I would have them have squash matches. I'm so serious. Granted, that tag team division isn't great, but who cares? It's not great anyway. I would have them go out there and squash people. Straight up, squash people. Because they are that good, right? Physically, like they look that imposing of a team. And not only do you have them dominate for months, build up that momentum, I would have Bianca turn on Jade. Because look, eventually that's going to be a match, right? So you're going to build towards that if they're a tag team. They're not going to stay a tag team forever, so they got to split. And I don't think you're going to turn Jade Cargill heel, especially when she just debuted less than a year before, right? So my thing is, why not just turn Bianca? Bianca has been a babyface her whole run in WWE. It's about time that she turns heel. She's been doing this whole skipping to the ring, twirling the hair, slapping her ass gimmick for the longest. And look, I think it works. She's still a fan favorite, but eventually she's got to kind of switch it up or at least do somewhat of a character change. I actually think the build for this match where she would actually come out, confront Naomi, confront Bayley and be like, look, you don't got to help this girl out. I was here when you weren't here and they were attacking me. They would have been doing the same thing to you. You don't owe her anything. I like that. Bianca actually sounded like an understandable, relatable human. She did, because why would I help Bayley? And if you notice in this feud, Bianca and Bayley have not interacted as far as in the ring shit. Bayley hasn't come out to save Bianca, and Bianca hasn't come out to save Bayley. She's only interacted in this because Naomi's been involved. And I like that consistency. I do. I like that consistency. So I would pair Bianca and Jade, have Bianca turn on Jade, and hell, if they play their cards right, that can be a WrestleMania main event. And I don't mean night 1, I mean night 2. Now, obviously, they will not get that spot for next year's WrestleMania unless, God forbid, disaster happens, injury with Roman Reigns and The Rock, because we all know that is the WrestleMania main event for next year. But my point is, those two have the potential to be that big of a match for WrestleMania. Now, maybe they'll do that match at SummerSlam, because I do think Bianca and Rhea is probably like their penciled in match for next year's WrestleMania. But just depending on how this tag team thing goes, if they want to go in that direction, of course, with Bianca and Jade, I could definitely see that being a WrestleMania caliber match. I can. I think they have the potential to do that. They have mainstream appeal. They have an audience of Black women out there that they can appeal to, not just in America. I'm talking even in Africa. You could go there, Europe, UK, France, wherever. You can go all these places and galvanize an audience that they're kind of lacking already. Because I do believe so many Black women, Black young girls can watch these women. Hell, Naomi included, right? She's not away from this. You know, she's doing her own thing. She's great. But Jade and Bianca, because of their youth in that company, right? Because of their experience already and how much further they can go, I definitely do believe the sky is the limit for them. There's no ceiling that they have. There's no barrier they can't break down. People can laugh, ha, 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 you're gassing up the women. Who cares? Fuck them niggas. Because they don't matter. What matters is what they do with Jade, because like I said, she can become the biggest star in WWE. And I'm so serious about that.